From mortgages to short sales to rental investment properties and real estate, this gentleman who I am excited to introduce has gone full circle in the resort real estate market, and we now get to say he's a member of our team here at Atlantic Shore Sotheby's International Realty. Excited to introduce to you none other than Michael Nolen.
Thank you very much, Ryan. So I'm excited to be here, part of the team.
Well, we are extremely excited. We're going to keep saying excited, but no, we're extremely happy to have you here. We've been talking for a number of years, and I wanted to get you on to the Running Real Estate podcast here because I wanted to have you share your story with some of our viewers, some of our clients, our great database of folks. And so I'm going to let you do that. So, Michael, tell us a little bit about who you are.
So, Michael Nolen, I'm 39.
Okay.
I started in the real estate industry when I was 19 years old. I started here at the beach in the mortgage industry, working for a mortgage broker. Eventually, I got into mortgage default work, working for a law firm. Then I started my own company, Delmarva Home Relief, which specialized in foreclosure prevention, short sales, loan modifications, kind of a little bit of a niche to the market at that time. And eventually it led me to selling real estate. I got into that and started moving into vacation rental properties, buying properties for my family and that where we like to vacation here at the beach, out of market. And we've niched that as well. And we've started leading clients to that same process.
So 20 years, I mean, essentially, right? If I'm doing my math right, so 20 years in the real estate industry here on the shore in one way or another. So mortgages, which back then, if I go back 20 years ago, that was like 2005. That was a very interesting time in the mortgage world. Lot going on there. I'm sure you learned a ton.
A ton from that. I mean, it was so easy to get a loan. Bad credit, you could get a loan. 100% financing, no problem, no income, no assets. I mean, it was just really easy, and it put a lot of people in a very difficult position to buy a property. Not being educated. And that's one of the sides that I learned when I got into mortgage default was education and making sure that my clients knew everything about the process. Because I just didn't like to see the thousands of cases that I worked on in mortgage default where people losing their homes, not knowing what to do, felt like they were deceived or they had a predatory loan. And sometimes not the case. It just seemed the answer was education and making sure that those clients were educated. And I wanted to provide that when I got into the real estate business, selling real estate instead of just negotiating the back end.
Right. So you saw those wild years of the mortgage industry, which kind of then led, so loose lending guidelines, right, which then led to some folks being in a tough situation who needed help, right? They were in danger of not being able to make their payments, right, which then leads to foreclosures or possibly losing their home and or trying to figure out a way to save what they had going for them, whether it's their credit or be able to actually sell their home through short sales, right? So that was what you started with, learned a lot, helped a lot, right? I hear help when I think of short sales and Delmarva Home Relief. You were helping the public not face foreclosure or trying to avoid it and move on to a different option.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
That's exactly what we did.
And then as time went on, you had interest, you got into real estate. So how long have you been actually practicing residential real estate?
A little over 9 years.
Okay. So almost a decade.
And I settled myself right here at the beach.
Got it.
Dealing with the default market, I saw the market, really taking off. And then I saw the market collapse. And I studied data on markets that were, still in default and what those statistics look like. And I knew that Ocean City was the first one to go when it really went belly up. Mm-hmm. But that was a very different time than we have nothing remotely of any challenges now. But I knew that I wanted to come back here to the beach and sell here at the beach. This was a great market that is diversified and had the best possibility for growth. It started rebounding before most of the other markets in Maryland and in Delaware.
Right, right. I thought we were undervalued. I've always said this. Ocean City, I believe, was undervalued for years. When you go up and down the East Coast, even today, you go everywhere from Miami to Maine, and you're looking for beachfront property. With our makeup, unique makeup of having so many condos, like you can buy a little piece of the beach for not that much. I've always felt like we're kind of undervalued and a great spot to come in as an investor and or second home buyer.
And the travel time.
Right.
Some places you have to travel. I mean, you have to hop on a plane, go and travel to a beach market, or 6, 7, 8 hours in the car. I mean, we're really centrally located to be able to go after a lot of different metropolitan markets to make it that 2, 3, 4 hour commute to be able to get away for the weekend and not be a challenge to go home.
Right. You can hop in the car and get here in a couple hours and be on the beach,
Yep.
Same day, right? So let's fast forward then into the actual residential real estate side a little bit more. When you've been doing it for a decade now, tell me about that evolution. Who is the client that you've helped the most over that period of time, and what do you love about helping that client?
Yeah.
Or the avatar of that client?
Yeah, absolutely. So it really started off like, I guess, a normal real estate agent where I worked with first-time home buyers. I worked with buying a second home. I mean, we deal with second homes and investment properties here at the beach. But living just outside of town, I mean, we have a lot of first-time home buyers that are coming here as well. So I worked with a very diverse clientele base of looking for a different type of property. Over time, I started investing in my own properties and just started really enjoying that vacation rental side of the business. So I started working with a little larger clientele base that focuses on buying the second home, getting away for an investment property, part-time investment, full-time investment, and even those that are looking to grow a portfolio. And for me, it's just something I really enjoy. I still love working with first-time home buyers. So if somebody is interested in buying a first-time home here at the beach or around the area, I'm happy to help and educate and make sure they don't end up in a situation that I dealt with in my past.
Right. So that investment side, tell us, go a little bit deeper on that, because that was definitely one of the things you and I have talked a lot about. I find so many agents they're working here, whether it be here at the beach or even anywhere USA, they don't always practice what they preach, right? And you have been one that has successfully invested yourself. You own beach property. You own Airbnbs. You own investments, right? And I think that puts you at in a unique spot to truly help the investor client. What can you tell me about that?
Well, one, I mean, how can I tell you how to invest in a property if I don't own property myself,
right,
and have been through it, right? So I think that's really important. But for me, I didn't just jump into it. So even, when I got into real estate, I did own my own home. So I went through that process. But when I jumped into the rental business, I handled it like I do any other aspects of a new business that I'm going to enter into. I saw an opportunity showing property here at the beach, and it was the rental aspect of the presentation of a showing. Rental numbers were insanely low. A 2-bedroom oceanfront condo, or even an ocean block property doing like pennies is what it really seemed like. And I saw that there was an opportunity to change what was going on and what was the normal. And this was 6-7 years ago.
Right.
So that's a big shift even in the Airbnb business, was what we did here and what the normal was then. And so I actually started helping a couple clients finding the right property. And I remember when vacation, like having a Vrbo or an Airbnb and having like a self-managed property wasn't normal.
Right.
And I remember the first time I showed a property with like $30,000 in rental income is what the owner was claiming on Vrbo. It was, at that time, it was like a $200,000 2-bedroom property downtown. It'd be a lot more nowadays.
Right.
But But the numbers were unheard of. I was going and shopping rates with the rental companies, and they were saying 12,000, 10,000. There's no way they're doing 30. So I said, well, show me your reporting. And I got an Excel spreadsheet. And my client and I looked at each other, and we didn't had no care in the world about those figures and those numbers that were presented. But a little more and more, we started seeing a couple more properties, and we started seeing accurate data that reflected it. Well, the client that I worked with at that particular time, she was in finance, so she knew how to investigate, she knew how to research those numbers, and I paid close attention to it. In fact, we ended up finding a property. They bought for $225,000 and did close to $40,000 in rental income on it. They self-managed it, and I followed them and interviewed them for a year. In addition to continuing my education and research into the Airbnb business. And so with that, I started working with some clients and managed a couple properties and higher end rentals and did very well. And from trial and error and experience, I found the niche that was missing in the market. And I continued to stay ahead of that niche to make sure that I can be ahead of any of the curves that are coming into the shifts in the rental market. And there have been several over the last few years, but I've been very successful for myself to where it pays for my livelihood owning vacation rental properties.
Right. So it started by helping the client, which got you curious, which then led to their success. And then you were able to take their success, kind of model it, invest in yourself, invest in your family, buy rental properties, which have now been successful. And now you can continue on to have a track record, to have a story that you can show to your next client, which puts them in a good position if they're trying to make that rental investment.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. And like we said, many agents, I find so many agents, that just don't invest. And the mistake a lot of us make is we help a client over the years with these properties, but we never look at the importance of investing in ourselves. And that's something that you've really done, and I really respect you for doing that. So switching gears real quick. You had great success where you were. You've built this investment portfolio. You've got great knowledge of the market and mortgages, and then you decided to make a shift. You decided to join us here at Atlantic Shore Sotheby's International Realty, and I just want to touch on that real quick. What was it that excited you, that made you want to make that move?
Yeah. So I've nothing but great things to say about the previous broker that I worked for. Or worked with, right? Great people, great energy. Energy, right? So that's what I was looking for. Surrounding yourself with the right team and the right people and the right influence. And, for me, I have my hands in a lot of things. I'm teaching martial arts in the evenings with kids and, teens, adults, which I love and I enjoy. And I've got the rental business, which is very automated. It's in a very good spot. But what was kind of lacking for me is the structure in my real estate business. And what inspired me is over the years, we've talked, but watching your running videos.
Right.
Now, every day you posted, what are you at? Like
2052, I believe.
I like the smile when you say that, right? No matter if it's a half a mile or
but who's
a
counting?
Tenth of a mile, whatever, right? Okay. But that to me was like, there's somebody that's dedicated to a principle. Okay. And it's, you, like I said, you want to surround yourself with good people. And I needed that. And I really just wasn't getting it. And you're great at social media. You're great in front of the camera. Better than I am right now with this on the spot. But, and it's an inspiration. And you want to follow somebody and you want to follow a team that has that type of passion, that energy that you can build off of it and build additional success. And so one of the things that we talked about a lot was scheduling and accountability. And there's things like that here. And I've enjoyed it. It's been great. My scheduling, and I mean, now I'm getting up at 4:40 in the morning. Right. Getting up and getting slowly moving, but by 5:30 I'm doing CrossFit, and then I'm going and starting to follow up and prospect and deal with my clients, and then get a little extra family time. Sometimes I'm even home showering before the wife and kids are even up because I'm getting up at 4:40 in the morning, and that type of dedication to a business is important. And that's why I joined Sotheby's, is because I wanted that energy. I wanted the motivation to follow others that are setting that type of schedule, that can keep that discipline, that continue the real estate business that I've built in the past as a top producer with the other brokerage. And I'm going to get that back. And it won't take much for me to do that. It's already starting. Gears are already in motion. It's already working there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the kind words, but and I have to say, it's not just me. It's we've got a great team here, a great system, people behind the camera here that are supporting us every day, and that's what's built this company over the course of the last 23 years is the people, the support. But you really have taken it upon yourself to do the actions, and that's what I'm seeing. Right. I'm seeing you buying in, and you're embracing it, and we truly respect it, and we love what we're seeing from you. Like I said the other day to you in one of your social media posts, you're making moves, right?
Yep.
And it's just the beginning. You're just getting warmed up. So we're excited to see where things go here. Before I let you go, though, I want to know a little bit more about you and your family. What do you do? What's your family like? What do you do when you're not in real estate? When you're not, getting up at 4:00 in the morning to do CrossFit?
Park, go and do school events. I mean, last weekend, I can't tell you how many trunk or treats.
Right, it's that time of year, right?
It is. It's getting close to Halloween, and so all weekend trunk or treats, soccer practices. Traveling. Both of my kids are I've got a few kids. I've got 4.
Right.
One's in college right now, so she's doing really well. I'm proud of her. And then my 2 middle kids, they're in my karate class, so sometimes we're even doing tournaments together or traveling. And my youngest, he's still growing. He's still
How old?
in diapers.
How's your youngest?
He's about 18 months
Yeah.
old. Yep.
You got the whole gamut there.
That's it. No. But it's just family time, park, hanging out, riding bikes, and going to the beach when we can.
Right.
But I think for the first few weeks when we were chit-chatting back and forth before I made the move, we did a couple pull times and did some trips together, Nags Head, Myrtle Beach.
Right,
and,
right.
So.
Well, you can tie those trips in a little bit to the business, right? You're looking at hospitality, you're looking at other rentals, and experiencing it yourself, and then applying that to your market here, and then being able to share those tips with your clients. So it's pretty awesome. I have to say, I'm as a company, myself personally, we are extremely excited to have you here. We know this is just the beginning, and the sky's the limit. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I know you're busy, but thanks for taking your time out of your day to sit down with us here. And we'll have a part 2 to this in a couple months.
Sounds great.
All right, Michael.
Yes,
thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Running Real Estate Podcast. If you like this information, please share it with your friends, like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks again.